Have you voted in the Online Scotch Whisky Awards? If not, go vote now.
Sir, yes sir! Well, thank you very much!
But if you have, let's talk about the best whisky awards around, the OSWAs, the one that is truly voted by me, you and the whisky community. We're going to be chatting about the bottles that didn't make the cut, who I put forward, and my predictions for who will win big in 2024. So grab a jam. Jam? Is this some kind of toast review? So grab a jam. So grab a dram and join me, Jeff Whiskey, a whiskey lover spreading the joy of whiskey, and if this sounds good, slap subscribe, but for now, let's crack on. Jeff Whiskey. This year's OSWAs nominations dropped on the 14th of this month, and in fact, it only dropped 2 hours prior to me filming this. It just got me so pumped I had to grab the camera.
Come on, take it while it's hot.
This year, from following a process where the public could put forward their choices, which was then funneled to a pretty large core group for refinement. Now, I'm hoping I can edit this in time. Currently, it's out to you for the public vote, and I will include a link to that down low. So do make sure you vote and check out the full actual nominations video before listening to me ramble on. With this year, possibly after nagging Roy so much, I was one of the 80 core group who was part of that refinement process.
I can be very, very persuasive. Come on.
No.
I'll be your friend.
No.
Oh, you're mean.
So after 800 odd folks submitted their recommendations, we then kind of looked through the submitted list. We selected our 3 with the choice of adding our own before clicking that big submit button. Then the next we heard was the nomination show, which we'll work through here. Again, I want to state this is not an official OSWAs thing, and do check out Roy and Ralfy's magical stream where they chatted about the nominations and gave a lot more depth into this all. And this is just going to be the picks of a random bottle slapper, so what I say goes. But really, I have no extra information or outlook on it all. These are just my thoughts, and for voting, always go with your gut. So to first, one of my favourite categories, Best Value Whiskey. Arran 10 was the winner in 2023 and won the trifecta from 3 wins in a row, so they cannot be nominated this year. But that gave us a strong lineup of Ardnamurchan AD, Benromach 10, Craigellachie 13, Glengarry 12, Kilkerran 12, and then Lecheg 10. I will say that I'm surprised that it's all just single malt here, when in my mind brilliant blends can provide way more bang for your buck. Also, there's no Glencadam 10 or Lecheg Rioja cask, both fantastic for the money, but some super strong nominations, and it does actually tie in with a future video about the best amount of money to spend on a bottle to kind of get your best bang for your buck. I've been working on that for months, so I should probably pull my finger out.
Let's talk more action.
Anyway, these range between 40 and 54 quid, and between the 6 bottles and average ABV of about 46%, with that Benromach 10 being the lowest at 43%. It shows that above the basic 40, you can get a lot more value out of a bottle. All solid choices, and would put forward any of them bar the Glengarry, as I've not tried it. Lecheg 10 is the cheapest RRP and is stunning liquid, so I am leaning towards that, but this is just a hard one to predict. And last year I thought it could have been Lecheg or Ardna winning, and I can see that happening again. Though I think the fact, no matter how beautiful a whiskey Ardnamurchan AD is, it is the only non-age statement, and you can't help feel that the increased cost to produce older whiskey, and it kind of feels that maybe you are getting greater value at the final price point when it has got an age statement. Like, all in all, the longer you've got to mature whiskey, the greater the cost is. But yeah, a real tough one. So flying in next to Best Blended Whiskies, which again, tough category. And to be fair, I think all these are pretty tough this year, so maybe I should just stop mentioning it. Right, we've got Compass Box Glasgow Blend, Hibinki Harmony Blended Japanese Whiskey, Maclean's Nose, Thompson Bros TB BSW 6-year-old, Turntable Bittersweet Symphony, and Woven Super Blend. Been fortunate enough to trial these bar that Woven release, and that was one of my biggest regrets at the London Whisky Show, as they seem to be doing just such super cool blended stuff. And it is awesome to see Hibinki Harmony in here. I always kind of felt that these categories were like kind of Scotch only, and this stunner gets massively overlooked. Maclean's Nose is absurdly good for the price, but possibly the least exciting of this range. Not to downplay it in any way, but it's just so solid, accessible and cheap, I think it may get glossed over by the wilder whiskies, and I think this should be the best value and win that category.
Controversial and loving it.
The Thompson Bros TB BSW 6-year-old won it last year, and I can see it taking a double. Wonderful, affordable liquid by the team who can't do any wrong. Yet for me, it's got to be Turntable Bittersweet Symphony, a phenomenal blend that smashes so many single malts and the best release I've tried from their super range. Now time to remove any grain from the situation, and we're talking blended malts. Last year's winner, Campbelltown Lock, is back and you cannot argue with it. It just slaps. And then you've also got Compass Box Orchard House back in the mix after a win in 2022, and they are joined with McNair's 12-year-old Lumbrique Old Perth Cask Strength, Thompson Bros 8-year-old North Highland, or as I call it, TB Tesco's, and Thompson Bros SR V5 8-year-old. I feel like I only prepared with bottles for this category. Professionalism. Personally, I've never come across the Lumbrique before, and while I've been impressed by Old Perth, the cask strength has yet to pass me. Both are now on the watch list to rectify that, and surely Campbelltown Lock will take it again. Think this is the only Springbank representation in the whole awards this year. Not entirely certain on that, but I don't have time to check my facts.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You just can't argue with that great price. I love Orchard House, and I think for me, the Tesco special would have to top it. A phenomenal, great blend, what I'm currently drinking, and it's just an obscenely cheap price. Grab one now if you can. But in truth, that is a big factor in who will win. It's just what's the most accessible, because the more people have tried it, the more people can vote for it, which I think is part of the OSWAs you'll never be able to get around. There's no seem to be a clean solution for that. So let's move these out of our way as we go to best non-malt whiskey. This is a bit of a grey area for me, a category which is open to all grain types excluding malt. So you got rye, corn, wheat, it's all game. And this is normally where the bourbon world breaks in.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
And we've got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Kentucky Straight Bourbon, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Strength, Millstone 100 Rye Dutch Single Rye Whiskey, Powers John Lane 12-year-old Single Pot Still Irish, Redbreast 12-year-old Cask Strength, Wild Turkey Rare Breed Kentucky Straight Bourbon. You can tell this is the one that I actually had to make a note and bullet point this list. And I do want to state again, this is just a summary. Do check out the full nominations videos for the slickness of the two R's coming together. This category has shamefully not included Mellow Corn yet, and I also put forward Legent Bourbon, which just sticks in my mind for some reason. It's one I will have to return to and briefly mention during my Sir Davis whiskey review. Rare Breed won both last year and in 2021, and I can see it gobbling up gold again. I can't stop myself from saying these jokes.
I'm too weak.
Swiftly moving to Best Distillery, where Springbank had the Trifecta Award, so it won't be making an appearance and winning again.
But my rule is 3 strikes and you're out.
And we've got a strong list of Ardnah Merkin, Ben Romack, Glengyle, Glen Scotia, Loch Lomond and Kilhoman. It is great to see Glengyle with the amazing Kilkerran releases getting in there, and also Kilhoman who just smash it. For this, I think Ardnah Merkin will take the win. The team are just superstars. They connect and engage with the enthusiasts and put out amazing liquid. And then to the other reason I feel they will win, the next category is Best New Distillery, where they have the Trifecta Award of 3 wins. 2024 would have been the last year they can go in this new category, but I'm sure they'll be alright.
Chill out. They'll be fine.
But for this one, we've got Ardnahoe, Glasgow, Lag, Lockleigh, Alarase and Torabeig. This is one that could go many ways. For me, it would be Glasgow or Lockleigh. They're both just doing awesome stuff and they have pretty different approaches. Ardnahoe had a lot of hype and they are the newest on this list with only their second release coming out now. Lag has a lot of fans and I do enjoy the Torabeig I've tried, but it is tough. I think it may be Lag, but it's going to be a really close call. Either way, props to the Lowlands.
Times have changed.
Now, moving on in with Best Independent Bottler, where Signatory Vintage is out following their hat trick. And here we've got Adelphi Selection, Cadenheads, Gordon and MacPhail, North Star Spirits, the Scotch Malt Whisky Society and Thompson Bros. with Thompson Bros up in Dornoch are being the pick of the bunch with just their amazing value releases. Sadly here, smaller independent bottlers get overlooked due to outreach, and I'm even surprised that Master of Malt didn't make it in, following their big push into independent releases. For this one, I think it's going to be between Gordon & MacPhail and North Star, but I am far from an expert in this field, or even an expert in this room.
I think you're funny. Sometimes.
You can tell it's late at night, these jokes are getting worse. Now to the two biggest categories which are left last for that tasty retention. Firstly, we've got Best World Whiskey, where we have Balcones Texas Single Malt, India Trini the 3-Wood Indian Single Malt, Cotswold English Single Malt, Nika Yoichi Japanese Single Malt, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, and the new release White Peak Wireworks Bourbon Barrel English Single Malt Whiskey. Now I can't see Wireworks Bourbon winning, just as it's so new and I feel it's quite a small release, but if you can try it, please do. This was possibly my favourite dram at the whole of London Whisky Show. I'm gutted that Westland didn't make it through, as everything theirs has been stunning, and with Cotswolds I don't hide my love, and I'll be super pleased to see it win. So much so, it was the only one I grabbed in the hurry to get this out together.
We knew you could do it!
I think Indri Trini, or as I know it as the Cheese Bomb, could take it, and it has a big following, but is it as big as Wild Turkey Rare Breed? Here I just want to say a quick cheers to Roy and Ralfy for having me host this award last year. I'm sure they won't be needing to scrape the barrel so much in 2024.
Keep it up, my friend, please keep it up.
I'll try my best. I'm still young, so it should be quite easy now.
And now to possibly the biggest category for the OSWA fan, Best Scotch Whisky 2024. This is the first category that kind of feels a bit of a repeat, and I hope there could be some more new bottles next year, but the people have spoken and they have said Anok 24-year-old, Ardnamurchan Cask Strength, Ben Romack Cask Strength, Bunnahabhain Cask Strength, there's a bit of a theme, Kilkerran 16-year and Lecheg 16-year-old. I'm super honoured that I've managed to try them all in my whisky journey, bar that Anok, which is something I've yet to really explore any of their releases.
Let's add that to the shopping list.
But the others are all bangers. And for me, it's either the Kilkerran 16 or the Lecheg 18 that really shine. My pick of Deanson 18 certainly should be in there, and I'm surprised that Port Charlotte 10 didn't make it in, as last year it had such a following and did really well. Maybe this bottle will be highlighted in the People's Choice at the bottom, which make sure you fill out because that's kind of a little separate entity to the rest of the awards, and it puts together a banging list of what we think is the best whiskey in each category. But with the vote for this one, I can see it being Bunnahabhain Cask Strength just tipping it. And while all these nominations are super exciting, it's also an amazing picture of our enthusiast's eyes in the whiskey landscape.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
Especially with when you look at what's not here, Islay seems pretty underrepresented, with none of the big hitters of Ardbeg, Lefroy or Lagavulin in this list. There's no appearance of any of the luxury whiskey brands of like Macallan and Dalmore, and there's not even any Johnny Walkers this year.
It's not the game you play. Just keep on walking.
And the last little thing I thought was interesting, not a single nomination at 40% ABV, with the lowest being 43%. But these are just my ramblings, cashing in on a hot whiskey topic. I have so much admiration for the work Roy and Ralfy do with the OSWAs and the whiskey community as a whole, so do make sure you vote and get involved. I know I don't take any of this whiskey world that seriously, but the whole stance on the OSWAs is something I feel super passionate about, and I'm proud to have a very small part to play. It has even made me think that I'll do a daft JOWA, J-O-W-A, dyslexia nearly let me down then, or maybe following the comments made on the stream, put some folk together with like a focus on an English whiskey slant. Either way, great work again by Rob and Ralfy.
The name's not Boy, it's Roy.
As well as Rob and Chuck behind the scenes. A huge thank to my channel members, the Bottle Slap Club, who support me in my videos. You are the ones who just let me blurt my unmanaged whiskey thoughts online. And with that, grateful to have you all here, and cheers to the next one.